Hello folks, a very good morning to you. Hope you're all keeping well. So today we are middle of September, the sun is shining, the roads are nice and dry, and I'm just going to nip down to my local BMW dealership, which is the Mansell collection, and I'm so excited. What I'm going to do over the next couple of days is try out two of their very special BMWs. The first one, which is what we're going to be doing today, is a BMW R1300GS. Now it's no ordinary R1300GS, this is a rather special R1300GS, which I actually took out back in February of this year, so several months ago took that out, and since then it's had a few little bits and pieces done to it, so it's changed completely in looks and everything else from what it was like when I took it out back in February. So that's the bike we're going to be taking out today. It's an R1300GS which has had a few bits of modification done to it. So without further ado, let's roll the intro. Welcome back. We're just arriving now at my BMW dealership and I'm really excited. So let's get off the bike and go upstairs and have a look at the R1300, which will be unrecognisable. The time has finally come, so Mansell collection, and that is Gregg, who's the CEO of the Mansell collection. That is his R1300GS, and it is a special R1300GS. I've got to say, I am a little bit nervous, if I'm being perfectly honest, as he's not let anybody ride it before, so I've just got to make sure that it comes back as I've taken it and we don't do any damage to it other than the minor cosmetic damage that's on there already. So I think what we'll do is run across the road, jump on the bike and take it out. What we're going to have to do is let this police car pass first. Typical. Right, that's it. So here we go. This is the R1300GS. Now I rode this bike back in February when it was a little bit different. It looked a little bit like this, and now obviously it looks like this. It's had a lot of work done on it. Gregg's gone through the bike and just told me what work they've had done on it. Hello. And the first thing is they've had some work done on the old suspension, so it is a little bit taller. So, oh, how do we turn this on? Locked mode, there we go. Different to mine. Right, so there we go. OMG, yeah, so the bike, it sits a little bit taller actually, but more of that once we get going. So let me just adjust the levers. Right, that's the levers adjusted because I've got small hands. So mirrors wise, yeah, these are actually Wunderlich mirrors, and basically they're indestructible. He's had them on all of his GS's, and it's basically just polished aluminium or something, so not mirrored glass, unbreakable. So yeah, don't ask, that's what they are. Right, let's go. I am so nervous, folks. Why am I nervous, you might be asking? Well, the last time I rode this bike, it was putting out, well, allegedly about 165. Oh my god, it was putting out about 165 horsepower, and that was with a Hilltop map. Now Gregg has gone back to Hilltop because this bike gets raced up our hill climb events over here, so that's what this bike has been adapted for, is the hill climb events. I can't even talk properly. So he's gone back to Hilltop and they've come up with another map. So Gregg reckons this is putting out about 170 horsepower. So is this the most powerful R1300GS in the world? No idea, but it's got me scared and a little bit on the nervous side. Right, let's get out of town and go and find some twisty roads. But I think what we're going to have to do is warm the tyres up and just basically get used to the bike. So now that we've calmed down a little bit, just getting back into the bike, and yeah, so a little bit tall. I'm 5'9", 32-inch leg and all that kind of stuff. So the bike is taller than my 1250 GS. Certainly I can't flat foot it, but it's fine. and it sounds really good. Sounds really good. Bloody shit. Well, dearie me, Mum, I want one. That is nuts. This isn't a GS. There's no way this is a GS. Absolutely no way. Absolutely flippin' heck. Pop pop bang bang, pop pop bang bang. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a fun video, guys. This bike, in the 5 minutes I've been riding it, is absolutely just feeling the potential. It is going to be insane, absolutely insane. That's the only word I can describe. Insane and scary. Listen to that. Flippin' heck. That is just got angry written all over it. Absolutely. Flip. Right then, the nerves and the anxiety levels are back down. What I think we'll do is find somewhere to park, we'll pull over, and then we'll just go through the specifications of this rather special BMW R1300GS, and it is super quick. And on the way down, the gearbox, that double blip, very nice, very nice. Right, let's go and talk about the specs. Here we go then. This is the specification section, and I've got my two German Shepherds keeping guard over this extremely powerful machine because I don't want anybody to nick it, because they are going to get themselves into a lot of danger. So that's why my Shepherds are looking after this bike. That is the security for the bike. So here we go then. So when I rode this bike back in February, it was a standard R1300GS trophy. And the options that were ticked for that were the forged wheels, the upgraded sport suspension, which I believe gave it the upgraded brakes as well. So things have somewhat changed from then until now, as one can clearly see. And we'll go from the front to the back. So the front wheel is now an M1000R wheel, which being only 17 inches makes the front of the bike more flickable, sporting a Racetech K1 tyre. And on the back, we have got something different. It's a BMW R9T wheel, and that allows them to put a 180 profile tyre on the back. So that's a Racetech K2 tyre on the back, although they're not the tyres that the owner uses to launch it up the hill climbs over here where I live. And that is the purpose of this bike. So it's got a R9T wheel on the back, and that 180 profile, it just allows them to have the biggest tyre possible without rubbing against the shaft on the left hand side. So that's the wheels, and they've also poured 1 kilo of lead into the front axle to increase the weight on the front as well. Moving up then, I don't know if these normally have a mudguard, but there isn't a mudguard there either. And in relation to the front forks, I think they've just lowered them a few mil or whatever. Let's just talk about the exhaust. Standard end can, and they've got a wider diameter exhaust pipe work, and that's handmade by a friend of his, and it's been decatted as well. But that is a standard exhaust can on the end there. All these have been ground down to try and reduce them grounding down as the bike gets launched up the hill to do the national hill climb events where we live. So they've even thought about that. And in relation to the bodywork, it's still the original bodywork, I believe it is. A few bits and pieces added to it protection wise, and it's got a sticker kit on there as well. Now, the engine, when I rode it back in February, it was 165 horsepower. It had been remapped by Jeff at Hilltop. It's been remapped since then. And yeah, no wonder I was nervous before when I jumped on the bike, as I said, and anxious. It's now putting out something in the region of 170 horsepower. So is it the most powerful GS 1300 on the planet? I don't know, but it's pretty powerful. So that allegedly is what it's putting out, is 170 horsepower. And the final thing that they've done is they've put this year's new GSA's rear suspension unit in there, so that's got the effect of adjusting the rake, so it sort of sits like that towards the front, so it's more flickable for the hill climb bends. So I guess if you're in America, hill climb would be like the peaks. Is it Pikes Peak? So you're doing the Pikes Peak, but a much smaller version of it over here where I live in Jersey, down in the Channel Islands. So that's pretty much all there is to say about the bike. So with the new suspension unit and the rake and all that kind of stuff, they're just hoping that, because they've actually scraped the bottom of the pots here, so they're just hoping that it just lifts it up a small amount to avoid it grounding down, which is sort of getting in the way of getting really good times. So overall then it has changed somewhat, and they've reduced the weight. Standard weight of this when they got it was 237 kilos according to BMW on their website, and this weighs something in the region of 220 kilos. So yeah, so that is it guys, that is the R1300GS from Mansell's, ready to launch up one of the hill climbs. So I think what we're going to do is we will go and do a couple of the hills over here. One of them is called Bully Bay and the other one is called Latac. So let's go and do both of those now, but it's not going to be very quick. It's not my bike. Yeah, and I don't want to get into trouble and cause any damage to it. So without further ado, let's get back on the bike and go and do those two hill climbs. Right then folks, that was the specification section completed. What I'm going to say is the fueling on this is absolutely amazing. I mean, this is 170 horsepower. I don't think it's been on the dyno, but it's 170 horsepower, but the fueling is absolutely superb. I mean, bearing in mind the owner knows exactly what he's talking about when it comes to bike geometry and all that kind of stuff. But this thing, you know, I can ride fairly progressively, shall we say. I'm not the best rider in the world, but even for me jumping onto this bike, yeah, once the tyres are warm obviously, but it just handles very well, and that throttle response is very nice, and that double blip on the way down, beautiful. And it is as scary as hell once you open the taps up. It doesn't want to go, and I've found myself using language that I didn't actually know that I knew. That's the kind of effect that this bike's had on me. So we're going to go and do Latac right up there progressively, and then Bully Bay, which is another one of the hill climb events like the Pikes Peak in the US of A, if that's where it is. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do now. Yeah, so let's go and do that. But the engine is amazing, and that, yeah, and the exhaust just pops and farts, double blips on the way down, but it just handles really well. You know, it's very light, very flickable. I wouldn't actually say it's a GS, you know, you'd swear it was something else. Yeah, it's damned good. It's not scary, it's very rideable, which is what surprised me, because the folks in the BMW dealership before I took it out was sort of like rolling their eyes in the top of the head, like saying be careful out there kind of thing. But this bike is, yeah, ride it slow, ride it fast, yeah, very impressive. And the quick shifter, it's a very quick machine. Now, if they bring a bike out like this and call it the M version, then I think the likes of Ducati and KTM with their big super machines, adventure machines, yeah, I think an M version of this, like this, well, sign me up for that. Definitely sign me up for that. The suspension is fairly firm, obviously, and you can feel the front go light when you open the taps up. But yeah, I think my mum could get on this and ride it. The engine just, yeah, it's very tractable. Why do I always end up behind the slow cars? There we go. Yeah, it's a very nice engine, very nice, but the throttle response is beautiful. You know, handles well, stops well. Again, no dive on the front there, very limited dive. So let's spin it around and go back up that hill, which is, they call it L'attack attack, I think they call it. So let's spin around here. Right, and even the slow speed stuff is nice. The tyres should be nice and warm now. So this is L'attack attack. I use the clutch from first to second, and again the suspension is firm, but it is nice and compliant. Bit of trail braking through the corner. Again, I'm not going to be mega quick because it's not my bike, but it just handles, it really is. Bloody shit. Double blip on the way down. Yeah. So they race up this hill. That is mightily impressive, fellow. That is mightily. Tyre pressures don't match. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Cancel that. I suppose the other thing is the old standing start. So this is in dynamic pro mode. Yeah, let's just see what the acceleration is like. But there might be some creative video editing going on here. That double blip on the way down. Very nice. Yeah, creative editing. Just handles really well. Sign me up, I want one. It's very nice. Oh, so that was the attack as they call it. So that's one of the hill climbs that they do over here when they shut the road and you go against the clock. So the biggest one that they do over here, and I think it's on the national UK circuit as well, is called Bully Bay. So let's go and ride this up Bully Bay. Tyres fairly warm. Yeah, warmish. Not quite 90 degrees, but warmish. Oh. So this, folks, is the very charming Bully Bay, where they do another one of the hill climbs. This is their main hill climb, and this is where the paddock is all along here. So it's all cars and motorbikes and stuff. And then the start line is just up here by this derelict closed hotel, and you see lots of tyre marks on the road where they do the wheel spins, and that is the start line. And I think this bike's gone up there a little while ago, end of August, the last hill climb they did. I can't remember the times, but I'll put them up here. But this was over 750cc. This was the quickest bike up here. So yeah, I think this is about the start finish line. So let's go up Bully Bay Hill. So that was the Bully Bay hill climb section. So I'm just going to ride back to the Mansell collection, but these are my final thoughts then on this very special R1300GS. And all I'm going to say is, wow, it's quite a little bit anxious when I first got on the bike, but I've been on it now for on and off for 4 hours, and there we go, riding at 15 miles an hour. The throttle response is amazing. What Gregg and Hilltop have done for the bike, for the engine, it's just amazing. Yeah, it's just very nice in all conditions. It is just really nice to operate. It's very compliant. Whether you're even a new rider could get on this and ride it with no problems at all. But that's what's really surprised me, is they've got the fueling, throttle response, handling off to a T. Very, very impressive. Again, first gear, low speed, beautiful handling. and the suspension has obviously been upgraded for the stiffer suspension. I'm not a technical guru, but even on this bike with the 4 hours I've been on it, yeah, I could be on this all day. Extremely comfortable, and that's something that has really surprised me, is how comfortable this bike is. When I first rode the GS 1300, one of the demo ones, I was like, not overly impressed with it, and I still love my GS 1250, but this in this package would be a bike that I would consider chopping my 1250 GS in for something. If BMW came out with a bike like this, dare I say it, M version, with the adaptability of the bike, first gear, riding fast, comfort, just the superb all-roundness of basically what the GS is, then sign me up for that. I would be first in the queue and have my name down for one if they were going to do this kind of bike, but from the factory. Absolutely blown away by how good this bike is, and I know I'm going slow, but I just want to show you the versatility of a bike that the owner has. Not only is he jumped it in a quarry, there's a video up there, I'll put a playlist up here, he's jumped it in a quarry when it was in the nice trophy spec and binned it. And he's the kind of rider that uses these bikes for what they are intended to be used for. Mine is a bit of a garage queen. Yeah, a lot of money, I don't want to damage it, but the owner of this one, he uses it as they should be used, and he's taking it to the level where BMW want you to ride the bikes to. Yeah, he uses his bikes as a tool, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. A Swiss Army knife, and this is, let's just get rid of the tank, reserve fuel level has been reached. This bike is definitely a tool which the likes of you and me more than likely will never get to the anywhere near the limits of them. So all I got to say is, yeah, really nice bike. BMW, please bring out something like this. This is absolutely amazing, comfortable, very, very fast. It's going to give the Ducatis, KTMs a run for their money without a shadow of a doubt if they did something like that. And that's it. Anyway, that's enough of me. I've really liked this. Tomorrow I've got the M1000XR to ride. Weather forecast is good as well. So thanks Mansell Collection for allowing me to take this out. And now all I'm going to do is go and enjoy some more of the twisty stuff. But this is an absolutely amazing bike, and it's very usable. What more is there to say? What an amazing machine. So let's go from safe mode to angry mode. I love it. Funny shit. That is so quick. And I love the double blip on the way down. So the tyres are nice and warm. Just handles so well. Just make sure there's no cars crossing my path going around the corner. Don't want to have a crash like that car park there. That is just, and we get the lorry in the way, but what a weapon. Absolute weapon. Anyway, back to the Mansell Collection. Everybody has to try this bike at least once. So my final thoughts on this R1300GS. Well, if BMW manufactured this tomorrow, then as we've mentioned, I would more than likely go out and put my name on the list, because this is a very, very impressive bike. You can ride it very slowly, or you can absolutely nail it and have much fun riding this bike. I don't know what they've done to the engine, but whatever they've done to the engine, it is very, very nice. The throttle action is excellent. I love the way it handles. It's just very nice. You can either ride it as a singleton or put your partner on the back and still have mucho funno. They've done a very, very impressive job doing this down at the Mansell Collection. So Greg and all the team down there, thank you very much for allowing me to take this bike out for what, 4 or 5 hours today. Really appreciate it. I thought it was going to be super scary. It was to start with, but no, it's a bit of a wolf in sheep's clothing, really. So yeah, you can ride it very slowly, or you can get on the gas and yeah, have lots of fun. They've done an amazing job on this machine. Very rideable. I love the engine, throttle response, the way it handles. There's nothing really much to say, and the time I've been on it, it surprised me. It's been extremely comfortable, so a very impressive package. So here we are then, back at the Mansell collection, and there's my R1300GS. So thanks guys, this has been a very impressive machine, very rideable, very usable. What more can I say? And tomorrow I get to take out the M1000XR, which apparently has got something in the region of 250 horsepower, and this one's only got 170 horsepower, but this is enough for me. And it'll be interesting to see real world which bike would I go for, either this one as it is now or the M1000XR. Well, that's it folks, do all that YouTube stuff, make any comments in the comment section down below. Ride safe as ever, cheerio for now, bye, hope you enjoyed it. That was fun. That was fun. That was mucho funno. Oh, dear me. And there's my armchair. That's going to feel weird getting on that from this. Very much so. Anyway, ta-ta for now.